I want to talk about the Goal movies. It's October 2005. You've just finished the GTA San Andreas campaign after re-attempting that train mission for the 400th time. I know we had to follow the train, but it's not that simple. Your buddy Dan got a 20Q, and now you're questioning if that thing was the sourdough mother that made ChatGPT to read all of our minds. And in between enjoying Gold Digger by kind-hearted mama's boy Kanye West and the coolest rock band Nickelback, you head to your local hoist to see Goal, The Dream Begins, a soccer fan that seemed like it was made for 10-year-old soccer boys like you. There is just something magical about the original Goal film, and maybe it's because the age I was when it was released. I mean, ask anyone who was into soccer at that time, they will tell you how amazing Goal 1 was. And then ask them what they thought about Goal 3, and they'll say something like, what? I didn't think they actually made a third one. And the truth is, they shouldn't have. And yes, I'm well aware I'm wearing my Socceroos jersey. It's to be on brand. Don't talk about it. I tried my very best to love this series, and then I rewatched all 3 films when I got older, and well, let's talk about it. Also, if you haven't already, sub to the chan. I'm trying to reach 1 million by next week, and as of today, I've got around 999,868 to go. Wish me luck. I'm going to give a short synopsis and then give my thoughts on each of the Goal films, so if you only want to hear my opinions, timestamps are in the description. Otherwise, the dream begins. If you'd asked me in the year 2005 what my 3 favorite films of all time were, they would be Toy Story 2, Top Gun, and Goal. That When Somebody Loved Me montage, it messed me up. Looking back, Goal was the right film made at the wrong time. If Goal was released now, with the amount of kids going wild for Messi, a hero they can actually see at eye level, it would have smashed at the box office. And yes, that's a joke on his hype. Instead, it flopped. Here's how it went. The Muñez family is first seen crossing the border into the USA. Donald Trump intensifies. Then we flash forward, and Santiago is working for his mad-all-the-time dad's gardening business while he plays amateur soccer in LA. One day he gets spotted by a man named Glenn Foy, an ex-Newcastle talent scout who annoys the head coach of Newcastle to give him a trial. Santi tells his family about the prospect of this dream, much to his dad's disapproval. And in between bussing tables at a Chinese restaurant and gardening, he tries to save enough money to afford a flight to England. Santi's dad steals the money he was saving in order to buy a new truck for the business at the time. And at this point, the dream is over. But up steps his lovely abuelita to hand him her savings and a ticket to England before Santi's dad finds out that he's even left. He shows up to Newcastle, immediately sucks and gets sacked. But Glenn says to the coach, come on. So he gives him a month trial. During a medical exam, he meets Roz and lies about his asthma. He becomes friends with Jamie, another trial player. He gets bullied by the reserve player Huey, who destroys his inhaler before a match. Santi then sucks and gets fired again. On the way back to the airport, he shares a cab with Gavin Harris, aka the GOAT, who befriends Santi and convinces the coach to give him another shot. They become roommates. Santiago makes his first team debut versus Fulham. He's now dating the nurse Roz, and his best mate Jamie ends up suffering a career-threatening injury. Santiago's dad dies. He carries on playing for the last game of the season versus Liverpool, and after going behind, he assists Gavino for the equaliser, then scores the winner for himself, giving Newcastle the win and a spot in the next year's Champions League. Santi's abuelita calls and tells him that his dad watched him play against Fulham. Roz blows a kiss, roll credits. And look, as far as I'm concerned, this film has GOAT status. Goal does an amazing job at giving the viewer the opportunity to live vicariously through Santiago. It's got a great soundtrack, its cinematography is really nice, and it's just melodramatic enough for it to be fun. Plus, there's a scene with Alan Shearer who acts like he's never seen a camera before.
Finished with that, son?
I still quote lines from this film to this day. Anyone I see that has the name Harris, immediately, you're shite, or you don't want to know, is essentially part of my vocabulary. I had a mate Terry who had the exclusive movie version of the Adidas F50s, and I'm still jealous of him to this day for having them. Lucky bastard. The stuff I would have really enjoyed at 10 years old are a little bit cringe now, like the line about where his home is.
I don't know where home is anymore.
Yeah, you do. It's green, and it's got a goalpost at each end.
What? Or the ending to the film on the whole.
My dad's on the game! Probably watching you right now!
Santiago!
Alessandro Nivola is incredible in this film, plays the cocky pro footballer to perfection as Gavin Harris. And while Santiago looks great and is likable, by far the worst part of this film is it's clear that up until this film, he couldn't kick a ball to save his life. And look, I'm fine with having continuity in this movie. But the game against Chelsea, they're playing with 2 different coloured balls when it cuts to each scene. Okay, I get it. It was an EPL fixture in one and the other was an FA Cup game stitched together for the footage. But you couldn't fix that with special effects? How hard is it? I mean, I probably could have a go. It's pretty hard, actually. But in all, love this film. And then came Goal 2. Goal 2 is what happens if you took Goal 1 and gave it steroids. Instead of Newcastle, you get Real Madrid. Instead of Alan Shearer, we get Zidane, Guti, Beckham, Casillas, Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos. I mean, that's a pretty fair trade. Instead of the amazing English cold, we get horrifying Spanish summer. It's a win all round, and yes, that was sarcasm. Following the events of the first film, Santiago gets signed by Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world. He then immediately moves to Madrid, while his fiancée Roz stays in Newcastle to complete her nursing degree. Real have also signed Santi's mate and our Lord and Saviour, Gavin Harris. Santi meets a young kid named Enrique, his long-lost half-brother, and he learns his mother walked out in the family and fled to Madrid. And at this point, we see our main man turn into what in Spanish loosely translates to dickhead. He gets upset at Roz for being up all night, drinking and cheating on her. He then sacks Glenn as his agent and doesn't even look him in the eye. He breaks his ankle playing keepy-ups. He cheats on Roz again. Enrique gets bullied by Leo Messi. Have a look. He looks exactly like him. So he steals Santi's Lambo and crashes it. And while speaking to the cops about the accident, Santi assaults paparazzi right in front of them. Glenn gives the only good bit of advice for the movie.
You're not a kid anymore, you're a grown man. You've earned a lot of praise on the pitch. It's time to earn some respect in the real world where it matters.
We get the only time it's ever appropriate to play Three Doors Down. Santi visits his mum, who reveals why she left the family. She had to film Rush Hour 1. Nah, the real reason is pretty messed up. He forgives his mum and plays street ball with his brother, a nice and wholesome moment. He then sends a voicemail to Roz, who reveals she's pregnant. Real then play against Arsenal in the Champions League final with their star player.
Nick Cannon, everybody! Nick Cannon!
They go down 2-0. Gavin Harris gets one back. Santi then gets them level. Last minute of the game, Muñez gets brought down on the edge of the box, and up steps David Beckham, and my all-time favorite montage in all of cinema.
You know, they say all men are created equal.
If there's anyone you'd want in this situation, it's David Beckham.
Young boys.
Cometh the moment, cometh the man. It's Beckham to win the Champions League for Real Madrid. Beckham! It's looking good! It's in!
Beckham scores and wins the Champions League for Madrid. End credits. I really wanted to enjoy Goal 2. I really did. And this film would have been great if we had given the third act that we deserved. First of all, the football scenes, magic for both. And Gavin Harris is amazing again with the wrinkle saga and him getting old. Some of the bits in the film look a bit but on the whole, it was just real enough to feel immersive. Apart from Santiago's poor technique and his two left feet. It left a real sour taste in my mouth at the end of it, however. Winning a trophy does nothing to redeem Santiago. Plus, as a kid, I don't know, seeing a hero like Santiago in a film that involves underage driving, cheating on your spouse, and being a dick to your friends, probably not a great look on the whole. But it's clear this franchise is supposed to portray Santi at rock bottom in order for a triumphant third act. If the first act is about the dream beginning and the second act is about the dream coming true while everything else around him is crumbling, then surely Goal 3 is built around Santi's redemption arc and getting back with his family and friends, right? Right?
Wrong.
And then came Goal 3, a movie I only found out about thanks to me trying to legally purchase the Blu-ray of Goal 2. No shit, they tried to bury this one so deep no one would find it, and it's no wonder. We begin with Santi, except this time he's playing for his home country, Mexico, in the World Cup. Or at least, that's what this film wants us to believe, as it's revealed that he's only involved in an ad for the upcoming World Cup. I mean, okay, it's just a little misleading. It's still good. At least we see Santiago reunited again with his best mate and Real Madrid teammate. Oh, wait. He now has two best friends, Liam Adams and Charlie Braithwaite. Okay, what about Govino? Oh, he doesn't even get a mention in this film? Okay, cool. Or surely he's been talking to his old mate Glenn Foy. Oh, no, he's not in this either? All right, then what about Roz? She was pregnant with Santi's child last time we saw her. Oh, okay, nothing about her at all in this film. Fuck. The film's only a bit ruined. It's still good. It's still good. Santi will represent his country and be the pride of the nation in front of billions at this World Cup. Oh, he gets in a car accident and can't play in the World Cup and we barely see him throughout this entire film. What the fuck is this piece of shit? Instead, we follow the two guys we've never seen or heard from up until this point. Liam's got a drinking problem and Charlie gets a head injury from a car crash that involves Santi not playing. We see little of Santiago at all. We get the relationship between the two guys we don't even care about, as one deals with his drinking problems and having an illegitimate child, and the other dates an Italian actress, asks to marry her, and then dies, seemingly within a month. Yeah, he dies. And look, this sounds terrible, but the movie was so horrid up until that point. You know what my initial thought was when I saw him die? Good. And what's even worse than that, we come to find out Santiago just got signed to Tottenham.
I just signed a new 2-year contract with Spurs.
So his career's over then. Liam misses a decisive penalty for England in what's probably the greatest green screen job I've ever seen in film. I mean, the Raka could do a better job if they were blindfolded and brain dead. He then marries the mother of his daughter. Santi was there. Oh, and Charlie Braithwaite is apparently the son of the coach from the first film. So there's that connection. Goal 3 is a complete shit sandwich. It's directionless, it's pointless. We get literally nothing from Santi except for the fact that he grew his hair out. That was the only thing we saw in this film. We didn't get an answer about what happened with his pregnant wife and ex-fiancé Roz or his agent Glenn. Plus, it's almost as if the people making the film forgot about Gavin Harris and forgot to cast him, instead of splitting him into two different yet infinitely more bland people. A complete bottle job. The only other remotely interesting thing about this film is it follows the lads Santi first met at breakfast in Newcastle as they toured Germany during the World Cup. And this was only to pad out the runtime, but hey, it was nice to at least see some familiar faces. This movie completely undoes any goodwill the first two films built. If Goal 1's tagline was "The Dream Begins" and Goal 2's tagline is "Living the Dream," then Goal 3's tagline is "Oh my god, this is fucking terrible." Let me have a go and attempt to make Goal 3 at least somewhat watchable. Instead of the tagline "Taking on the World," we call it Goal 3, "The Final Whistle." Now, this side of the story is the perfect scenario and doesn't take into account contract disputes, financial things, budget. This is just the perfect scenario of what I'd like to see happen in the film. We open with Santi and Gavin celebrating the Champions League victory in the Real Madrid change rooms from Goal 2. He checks his phone to see if Roz called or even sent a text. Nothing. He should be on top of the world, but he just feels empty. Maybe it's because he's done so much in so little time. Maybe it's regret. Santiago gets called up to represent Mexico at the next World Cup, but either during training or during the Champions League final, I'm not sure at this point, he gets a minor injury that could threaten his World Cup dreams. Now we're back in his big, empty house. He takes one look at that Champions League medal, and it reflects back at him. He's had to reach the top to realize he's at rock bottom. We then cut to Newcastle. Glenn's back working on his cars. Santi limps in, much to the surprise of Glenn and everyone in the mechanics. Santi then apologizes for treating Glenn like shit. They hug, and Santiago gives Glenn his Champions League winner's medal. Glenn says, "But I don't deserve this. I'm not your agent." Santi says, "You're not, but you are my friend. And without you, I don't have that." He goes to Roz's house. Her mum answers the door and she's not happy. Santi asks to see Roz, and reluctantly she obliges. They have a little chat to each other about their lives, about what happened. Santi apologizes. He knows he let the fame get to his head. He sees that she's pregnant and confesses to her that he plans to retire. She tells him fine, but not after you take on the world. Tagline. At this point, they're on speaking terms, but they're not quite back together just yet. He rehabs in time for the World Cup, where at the airport he meets Gavin Harris. In Goal 2, his concern was aging out, and a lot of people were saying that this is his last World Cup. We get that same montage from Goal 3 because I did enjoy that bit, and plus Uncle John's in it. We find out Mexico gets paired against England in the round of 16, and it's Muñez versus Harris. Two best friends go at it for one last time. Harris scores to get England up 1-0, but Santi assists to make it 1-1. Extra time, and now it's tense. We cut between Glenn's turmoil and Santi's family. It goes down to pens, and it's 4-4 in the shootout. Santi's last for Mexico. Harris is last for England. Harris scores, but Santi misses. England advance. This also keeps in line with the real-life round of 16 curse Mexico have. Tick for that. Harris celebrates, and Santi's sad he's lost, but he shares an embrace with Gavin. No regrets. Nobody except him and Roz know about it, but this is Santi's last match, and he's quietly happy about it. We get another montage. England gets knocked out in the quarters. Italy wins just like in real life. Harris, like Santi, finishes the tournament with his head held high. It cuts back to Santiago at the airport, ready to go home, and he gets a call from Gavino. He's in a hot tub, probably with a couple of girls. Who knows? He tells Gavin Harris that he's retiring, but he thanks him for everything and tells him that he loves him. And Gavino says something like, "Well, if you're ever about, you're always welcome here." as he turns to motorboat one of the girls. I don't know, I haven't figured out that bit yet. Okay, now this is where it gets real cheesy. Santi returns to either Newcastle or Madrid. I'm going to say Madrid because, I mean, come on now. Nobody that ever had a choice would live in Newcastle. He returns, and at the airport, he's greeted by his mum, his half-brother Enrique, his brother Julio, his abuelita's there, and finally, there's Ros. And they kiss. And we flash forward to the final shot where we see Santiago on a pitch, this time as a coach, for Enrique and Julio's junior team. After the game, he gives Ros a big hug as he embraces his now 1-year-old daughter as his mum and grandma watch proudly on from the stands. At least in my version, we get a clear payoff for the first 2 films. I don't know, is filmmaking really that hard? And look, maybe my version's a bit cheesy, maybe it's a shit idea, but let me know in the comments if you would watch my version of Goal 3. Anyway, that's all I got. Sub to the chin. Again, I'm trying to get 1 million subscribers by next week, Malaka.